For any business that's starting to grow, there's this weird moment where your success actually starts creating its own problems. So today, we're going to unpack a really smart solution to that: outsourcing financial tasks like tax prep and accounts payable. We're going to look at why this is so much more than just saving a bit of time. It's actually about unlocking a smarter way to grow. Okay, so picture this. Your business is finally hitting its stride. Sales are climbing, you're expanding. It feels amazing, right? But behind the scenes, there's this other thing happening. Your finances are getting way, way more complicated. Does that sound at all familiar? And that brings us to something I like to call financial growing pains. It's that really tricky phase where the very thing you've worked so hard for, success, starts to clog up the works inside your own company. And these challenges, well, they just pile on top of each other. Suddenly, you've got this flood of vendor invoices, which makes tax prep an absolute nightmare. Your team is still doing things manually, so mistakes creep in. And all of this gets 10 times worse during your busy season when you have no spare hands. It's a classic case of your internal systems just not being able to keep up with your own growth. So, what's the move? Well, this is where we're seeing businesses make a really strategic pivot. Instead of just trying to hire more people to do the same old thing, they're turning to outsourcing as a much more modern, efficient way to handle their finances. And this really gets to the heart of it. The whole point is to get your team out of the weeds, to stop them from being buried under this mountain of administrative tasks, so they can actually focus on the big picture. When you're not drowning in paperwork, you can put all that energy into strategy, into innovation, into the stuff that really moves the needle. But okay, what does outsourcing even mean here? It can sound kind of complicated, but it's not. Let's pull back the curtain and demystify the two key services we're talking about today. It's way more straightforward than you probably think. So first up, we have tax preparation outsourcing. Honestly, all this means is you're handing over the super detailed, complex work of tax returns and compliance to a team of dedicated experts. The people who actually live and breathe this stuff every single day. And this isn't just a tiny part of the job, it's the whole shebang. They're preparing your federal and state returns, they're verifying all your financial documents, getting your records perfectly organized, and, this is the big one, making sure you're fully compliant with all the latest U.S. tax rules. It just takes all the guesswork and stress right off your plate. Now, the second key service is accounts payable outsourcing, or AP. This is all about managing the money flowing out of your business. We're talking about processing invoices, paying your vendors on time, and just keeping all those important relationships in good shape. And again, this is a full cycle solution. An outsourced AP team takes care of the entire workflow for you. From the second an invoice lands, to talking with your vendors, to scheduling the payments, and finally to reconciling everything so you have perfectly clean and accurate reports. Okay, so now we know what it is and how it works. But let's get to the real question. What's in it for you? What's the actual return on your investment? Let's break down the 5 biggest benefits. All right, first up, benefit number 1. You get a massive boost in your operational efficiency. These outsourced teams, they come in with processes that are already structured and optimized. It just means invoices get paid faster, tax filing is smoother, your whole financial operation just starts to run like a well-oiled machine. Benefit number 2 is a huge one, and it all comes down to cost. Think about it. When you hire someone in-house, you're on the hook for their salary, benefits, training, software. It's a big, fixed cost. But with outsourcing, you're converting that massive overhead into a flexible expense. You get access to a whole team of experts, often for less than the cost of one full-time employee. All right, number 3 is all about peace of mind. You get much better accuracy and compliance. These professional teams have quality checks built right into their systems, which seriously cuts down on the risk of human error. Plus, it's literally their job to stay on top of all the changing financial regulations, so they act like a shield for your business, keeping you safe and compliant. Benefit number 4 is a real game changer. You get instant access to a deep pool of specialized expertise. Look, your internal team might be amazing, but they're usually generalists. Outsourcing gives you a direct line to specialists, people who are obsessed with the latest tax laws and accounting best practices. It's like having a whole team of pros on speed dial. And finally, benefit number 5, which is absolutely critical for any growing company. You build in flexibility. Your financial workload isn't a flat line, right? It spikes during tax season or at the end of the quarter. Outsourcing lets you scale your support up or down whenever you need to, without going through the painful and expensive process of hiring and firing. It's like having an elastic finance department.
So, with all of that in mind, how do you know if now is the right time for your business to make this switch? Let's run through a quick little self-assessment.
Just think about these for a second. Are you seeing a growing stack of unpaid invoices? Are tax deadlines a constant source of stress and panic? Does your accounting team just seem completely overworked and burnt out? Maybe the number of transactions is just exploding, or your financial reports are always late. If you're nodding your head to any of these, that is a huge sign that your current system is stretched to its breaking point.
So let's bring this all home with the biggest takeaway here. Outsourcing your financial tasks isn't just about getting rid of some work. It's a really strategic decision that clears the runway for smarter, more sustainable growth. And this says it all, doesn't it? The real choice is this. Do you want your most valuable people managing paperwork, or do you want them driving growth? By strategically outsourcing the financial engine room, you free up your team to focus on what's next. So the real question to ask yourself is, what could your business achieve with that kind of focus?